Episode 10, The Swindler's Path. The next morning, for the first time in centuries, warm sunlight filtered into the shadowwood. With the flow of mana restored, the forest had regained the vitality it had lost overnight. The trees were a vibrant green, and the songs of nameless birds could be heard everywhere. It was no longer the eerie, dangerous shadowwood. Rian and Boren prepared to leave. Dryas escorted them to the forest's edge. "I will not forget this kindness," Dryas said. She took something from her waist and handed it to Ryan. It was a single petal from the moon petal. The petal still emitted a faint, gentle light. "Take this with you. It will protect you in times of danger." "Protection. Nice. I could probably sell it for a high price," Ryan said jokingly, but he carefully tucked the petal into his tunic. Boren gave Dryas a formal bow with all the courtesy of a knight. "Please, watch over this forest well, Lady of the Woods. I will turn your story into a song and share it with the world. May your pure heart never change, brave knight." At last, the time for farewells had come. As Ryan and Boren turned their backs to the forest and walked away, Dryas' final words reached them from behind. "Ryan." Ryan stopped and looked back. "Are you truly an arcane botanist?" A playful smile flashed in her green eyes. Ryan looked at her for a moment, then burst into a hearty laugh. "Well, there are many kinds of experts in the world." He gave her a quick wink and turned away again. As they fully exited the forest, an open plain and a small village in the distance came into view. It was Silver Creek, a quiet riverside village that the signpost had pointed to. "So, where to now, Ryan?" Boren asked. "First, let's head to that village for a bowl of warm soup, and catch up on some much-needed sleep. And after that," Rian looked up at the sky for a moment. His mind was already brimming with ideas for his next business venture. But this time, something was a little different. A strange, unfamiliar emotion had taken root in a corner of his heart. He fiddled with the moon petal in his tunic. It wasn't just a simple charm or an emergency fund. It was a symbol of the miracle his lies had created, and proof that, for the first time, he had helped someone without truly deceiving them. Well, the world is wide, and there are still plenty of foolish rich people to be deceived. "Me? Helped," Rian said with a grin. His eyes were still the eyes of a swindler, but their light was a little deeper and warmer than before. He had just set foot on a new path. It would still be a path full of lies and bluffs, but one that could, at times, create miracles greater than the truth. It was the swindler's path, a road that only he could walk. Boren, not understanding the meaning behind his words, simply laughed his good-natured laugh and walked alongside him. Their figures grew smaller and smaller on the road to Silver Creek. Their new adventure was just beginning. Episode 11, Shadow over Silver Creek. As its name suggested, Silver Creek was a quiet village. A stream, glittering like silver, flowed through its center, surrounded by a quaint collection of wooden houses. For Ryan and Boren, who were exhausted from days of tension and sleeping rough, the peaceful scenery of the village was a blessing in itself. They took a room at the Silver Trout, the largest inn in the village. Ryan took a hot bath and threw himself onto a soft bed, while Boren devoured the hearty dinner prepared by the innkeeper, as if he intended to swallow the whole table. It was their first taste of civilization's comforts in days. The next day, Ryan began to explore the village and gather information. This was a power structure, economic situation, and the rumors circulating among the people. He needed to know where the money flowed, who held the power, and what the people feared and desired in order to plan his next business venture. Silver Creek was a little different from how it appeared on the surface. While a village chief officially governed the town, the real power was held by Baron Thornfield, who lived in a massive manor on the outskirts. The Baron had a monopoly on the mining rights in the area, and most of the villagers were either miners in his employ or farmers who paid rent to him. The villagers re-met at the tavern were all reluctant to talk about the Baron. They merely repeated that he was a benevolent man, while casting anxious glances around them. Brian Swindler's sense was sending him a warning signal. There was a hidden secret in this village. Boren had no interest in Ryan's activities. He was at the village blacksmith, diligently polishing his astral blade, and at every opportunity he would gather the village children and tell them embellished tales of his adventures in the Shadowwood. The children listened with sparkling eyes, and Boren basked in the feeling of being their hero. That evening, Ryan casually struck up a conversation with the innkeeper. He fiddled with a few silver coins in his hand, and asked as if it were a passing thought, "This village is so peaceful and pleasant. It must be thanks to Baron Thornfield's governance, I imagine." The innkeeper glanced at the silver coins in Ryan's hand, and then lowered his voice to a whisper. "Hush! One doesn't speak of the Baron so freely. Is there some sort of problem?" "Problem? Heavens, no." The innkeeper tried his best to act nonchalant, but his eyes were trembling with fear. "It's just strange things have been happening in the village lately. People have been disappearing one by one in the middle of the night. All of them were miners who worked for the Baron. People say they just fled in the night, but, well, they were all folks who had lived in this village their whole lives. Disappearing? Yes. And what's stranger is that on the morning after they vanish, black smoke rises from the Baron's manor. A smoke with a truly foul stench." Ryan frowned. The story of the witch who abducts children in the Shadowwood had been a lie fabricated by Dryas. But here in Silver Creek, people were actually disappearing. The inscription from the signpost flashed through his mind again. "The silver in the creek is for the fool." Perhaps the phrase wasn't just about treasure in the forest, but a warning that the village itself was a dangerous place. A new sense of suspicion and curiosity began to bubble up inside him. Baron Thornfield, the disappearing miners, and the black smoke. There was surely a great secret hidden behind it all. And where there were secrets, there was always money, or life-threatening danger. Ryan's signature roguish smirk returned to his lips. He was ready to end his much-needed rest and dive into another dangerous game. This time, the stage was not the Shadowwood, but the seemingly peaceful village of Silver Creek.